What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Nothing But Skills, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Title Update 6 Episode 2 coming October 15th. Yes, today it was announced on the State of the Game that the official release date for Episode 2 Pentagon, The Last Castle, will release on October 15th. Now this is for Year 1 pass holders first, and then everybody else will receive it on October 22nd. Remember, all the changes besides the main missions and stuff like that will be available to everybody. So those loot changes, targeted farming, everything you want to start farming for the next raid and beyond will be available October 15th. So during the State of the Game, they dive into the two main missions. They dive into the two classified assignments, new specialization, major improvements, conflict, team elimination, plus the new wharf map and so much more. But let's get into the State of the Game like we always do every Wednesday and see what they had to say.
So can we just take a look at exactly everything in a nice image form of everything that's coming on the 15th next week? We have a pretty image to show you exactly what is going on there. So there's an intro. Yeah. There's an intro to the Pentagon stuff. You have two main missions, Pentagon and the DARPA Research Lab. There's two classified assignments, exclusive for Year 1 pass holders. The new specialization, which we're going to show you later in the show, and if you're a Year 1 pass holder, you'll unlock that instantly. There's all of the stuff we've talked about in the past few weeks.
That we've seen on PTS and everything.
I think that's even though it's not as colorful over there and the major improvements part of this image, that's huge for the game.
I think this is probably our biggest, most transformative patch we've done on the Division, even including Division 1.
There's been a lot of changes.
Exactly. So down in the bottom corner, it said 38 new brand gear items. So those brand slots that we didn't have before, there's now all filled in. There's all the named items that we talked about. There's
new exotic, all kinds of stuff.
No, okay. So there's the intro mission, the Pentagon Breach. That's going to unlock the whole Pentagon.
Yeah, it's basically you arrive as the Division and you assault the Pentagon to try to break into it and establish a foothold from where then you can then start your missions. So that's your first entry to the Pentagon. And then after that, you have the first mission, where it's about locating the bioreactor.
Let's take a look at that. We have a piece of art for that as well. So you'll discover the location of the perfusion bioreactor inside the Pentagon.
Spoilers. Seriously though, it's super exciting to finally visit Pentagon. We kind of knew when we picked the location of DC that Pentagon is one of those places where we want to go eventually. And with shade agents and all the technology they use, obviously this is going to be a really important kind of story beat for us. And it's kind of the lore source for the new spec as well, the new specialization.
All right, so there's also the other main mission, which is the DARPA Research Lab.
This is where they make all the new exciting inventions, right, that they use for the Department of Defense. So all the new cool toys with weird abbreviations that the US makes.
All of this content that we're talking about right now is that you can, is part of the Episode 2 package, the narrative-based content especially. And that is coming on the 15th for people who have the Year 1 pass. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
And then if you don't own the Year 1 pass, you'll still get access to it, but on the 22nd.
Right.
Yes. The narrative content, that is.
The narrative content. But all the TU6 content we can put in the bucket of balancing, quality of life changes, all of that. That'll come further on the 15th for everyone.
Yeah. And that's kind of why we even talk about those two different concepts, just to make sure everybody knows what's for everyone at the same time and what's early access.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the difference between title update and episode.
Perfect. Can we take a look at the DARPA Research Lab image? Ooh, it's so pretty.
It's cool.
Very cool. I, again, haven't played through any of these pieces myself, so I don't exactly know what to expect, but that excites me.
What's really cool with the DARPA Research Lab is especially when you get to go there, you should really explore and look at the environment because there's a lot of small elements as to what's the involvement of DARPA in the grand scheme of things that are really interesting.
I want to give a huge shout out to Ubisoft Sofia who have really spearheaded making the Pentagon and these new missions.
They've done a fantastic
this is going to be
job.
there like Pierce de Resistance in here.
I can't wait to play it, and that's pretty damn soon. I actually hadn't realized. I didn't sit down and think, oh, it's next week, but it's actually on the 15th of next week.
Yes.
You can instant unlock the new specialization like we talked about before if you do have the Year 1 pass.
Yes.
There is exclusive access for the Year 1 pass holders. That is always attached to the Year 1 pass, correct? The classified assignments?
Yes.
So if you want to play those...
you get two new ones,
All right, so there's the marina supply route so that's an outcast thing. They've been moving weapons and supplies into a boathouse on the Potomac River.
Yes.
Ooh, cool. So this is like really going a little bit deeper down the narrative hole for people.
I mean, classified assignments are all about digging deeper into the lore. Right?
It's really about the lore, and it's the cool thing with those is that like I mean we keep pushing the concept a bit with each new classified assignment. So these are actually really exciting. So this one and then the next one with the embassy is also really cool.
Do these ones still have the unique backpack trophies attached to them?
Yes,
Cool.
all of them.
I haven't seen those, and I don't have an image for them now.
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
I've seen them at some point. I don't know which one exactly out of two
Okay.
you're going to get there.
All right, and there's also the embassy crash site where a JTF helicopter.
Yes.
What is with helicopters crashing, Yannick?
You don't want to be in a helicopter in the Division universe.
If you want
It's
a
just
good
there.
Clancy
Any Clancy-
story, it has to start with a helicopter crash. And I have to say, that trailer, the helicopter does not crash.
But it's not flown by any shade agents. That's why.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of a Ubisoft meme at this point.
A little bit.
Far Cry 5
so
has
it's
a
a
helicopter crash as well.
Breakpoint starts with a helicopter crash.
I'd say kudos to the helicopter pilot from the Boo, because that pilot never crashed.
He doesn't. That's good.
We should
Take-
actually
takes
just,
you-
at this point, make a helicopter piloting game.
There you go.
All right. So just quickly, so all players will get access to the TU6 health updates,
Yeah.
which we talked about before. So the gameplay improvements will be coming on the 15th for everyone.
Including the new loot and all of that stuff, right?
Exactly. So we're just going to run through those super quickly. So October 22nd, for people, these are for people who don't own the Year 1 pass. You'll get the Pentagon Breach side mission and the two main missions, the actual Pentagon and the DARPA Research Lab main missions on the 22nd if you don't have the pass. And on the 15th, let's just run through these really quickly. You will have access to the Technician Special Field Research to unlock that spec. So you'll still have access to it.
Yep.
There's the new exotic, Sawyer's knee pads. The KSG shotgun, which we showed a picture of last time. A new loot targeting system. And I can show you this one as well. We have an image for that. We've shown this in video form before when we had Nikki on.
Yeah.
But this is a nice zoomed out version of that.
Which is all about finding the stuff you need for your build.
Exactly. Really cool.
Can I just go back to the field research?
Please do.
Because I just really want to make it clear, because it's the first time that we're releasing a specialization at the same time as there's an early access and all of that. So I just really want to make it clear for everyone that the field research becomes available on the 15th. So when we say on the 15th, people that have the Year 1 pass get the specialization directly. People that don't have the pass, they can already start unlocking it. So you don't have to
Going
wait
through
until the
the
22nd.
research, yeah.
Just want to be clear about that.
Cool. So there's also the PvE and PvP balance changes coming to weapons. There's a new named items. There's 35-ish of those.
Yep.
So there's a lot. The updated inventory and recal UI, which we also have an image for. So can we just take a look at the inventory? Because the filtering system is something that's new.
Yeah.
And you actually pointed out something interesting in this earlier. For
Yeah, we're in the view now where you can view all kinds of items. You can see both gloves and backpacks and everything. Like that's the new slot where you can go in. You can kind of sort it by newest if you just want to sort through all of your stuff. But the filtering here has been worked on since the PTS as well. And here you can just go, hey, show me everything with crit hit on it or skill haste on it or whatever, and or a particular other stat.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Just, I mean, it's gonna be so good. just saying that makes me want to go to my inventory and
Oh, exactly. All these quality of life
I mean,
improvements.
it's
are
all about
a big
being able
help.
to sort through and do what you want
Yeah.
with your gear, right? So.
Yeah, the crafting improvements to the material cap increase as well, so you'll be able to generally get more, hold more, and then also spending them's a little bit less punishing as well.
And all
on the
kinds of
crafting side
other
things.
UI improvements where you can mark things for donations and selling and stuff like that, so you can really sort through your gear.
More stash space.
Or
Yes.
stash space.
What do you know the actual number on stash space?
yeah,
Yannick?
it's doubled.
double.
So it's 300 now.
Cool.
And more loadouts as well.
And more loadouts. Yeah.
Double again.
Nice.
Also double.
We also mentioned last week that Kinley College is coming back, and we talked about the modifier and everything, so that will be available on the 15th, correct? You'll be
Yes.
able to get back in there. If you didn't have a chance to
Yeah.
play it last time,
Yep.
all of the wings will open at the same time.
All
Yes.
3 wings, yes.
You'll have the new mastery system in there, and if you did miss out on the Diamondback, you can go ahead and grab it.
Yep.
Very cool.
With each character also.
Yes, so you could have 4 Diamondbacks.
Yep.
The normalization has been revamped, particularly in this applies to the Dark Zone, I would imagine.
Yeah, so essentially you're not going to lose out on all your recalibrations and all of that. So we're really not going in and normalizing all of your stats. We're really trying to keep your build, but just running the PvP version of talents and damage multipliers where we need them. So like scaling down damage to kind of balance it for players fighting players rather than 8 NPCs.
How much do you know about the Dark Zone server transfer improvements and making sure that we have enough people in Dark Zones?
I mean, I have a lot of smart people explaining stuff like that to me, and then I just nod and say, okay, that sounds cool.
Okay.
But I mean, in general, it's just, the idea is just to try to make sure as much as possible that we're filling up the servers. So what that means is that there's going to be an actual, like, we say matchmaking, we create matchmaking, but it's not really matchmaking as in start a matchmaking and then there's a loading of things like that. It's just as soon as you step into a checkpoint, we're going to make sure that there is a Dark Zone server that is allocated for you that already has people, and if it doesn't, you might be transferred to another server where there's going to be people. So instead of sending you into the Dark Zone and leave you alone there because we wanted to make sure you didn't have any loading, now we'd rather make sure that you have a full Dark Zone, which means you may have a loading, but therefore you're always going to be in a Dark Zone that has a lot of people.
I mean, the net result should be that everybody's in more full Dark Zones.
Yeah.
And every once in a while when you go through the sluice or the gates, you'll see a brief loading screen and server transfer you to something that's full.
Yeah.
We will chase that one up. So supply drop changes in the DZ and the ODZ. We also have an image that we can show you for the updated Thieves Den vendor, because it was never a vendor in there.
It kind of like now it's a proper vendor with a weekly reset and good stuff there, like named items and gear set items and stuff like that you can go and buy for Dark Zone.
Let's take a look at the an example of the Thieves Den vendor that we've got in here, because I think I actually spotted in this image a pretty nice one of the named items. So you see at the top you've got the claws out holster. It's pretty cool. So there's a reason to go to these vendors now.
Absolutely, and you can kind of really have this weekly reset where you use all of the currency you build up in the Dark Zones and go improve your gear. And you can see the gear score here is consistently 500s.
Yeah.
Solid. I like that. There's also, we talked about, Redstorm talked about it when I wasn't here actually, the new team elimination mode and conflict. You've got the new conflict map, the Wharf. And we actually have a picture of that to set the scene for you. There's somewhere you can go and do your crab rave now. Pretty cool. Check it out.
Nice. Giant enemy crab.
Yeah. That would be cool if that was a boss.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The cool thing with that
very on brand.
The cool thing with that map is that it's really fast-paced.
Okay.
It's really encouraging, quick engagements and everything. So it's really fun to play.
People have been paying attention. We haven't mentioned the raid yet.
Yeah.
Yannick, what can you tell us about the status of that whole thing?
Well, the TLDR of it is we're working on it.
Yeah.
The longer version is now we are very attached to the raid and to the second raid. We want to make sure that we make a very good one. We are very happy with how the first one turned out and how people got excited about it and all this world first race and even people still beating it now, trying to do speed runs and things like that.
So many completions. It was really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of completions, and of course now it's at the point where people are going bored with it because they know how to beat it. So it's important for us to have a second one, but it's important for us to have a second one that is good, that is even more challenging, more ambitious in terms of mechanics and all these kind of things. And these things take time. So basically, we want to take the time to make it good, to make it as good as the expectations would be, and that means it's not going to be ready for episode 2. It's not going to be ready before next year.
Okay.
So even with all the content that we get, we find out the raid is officially delayed till next year. They're working on it, but we just won't receive it this year. But they do dive into the new specialization we got. So let's take a look at this.
Could have shown, it would have said, first look preview at the technician, because we get to talk about it and show it for the very first time.
Kind of the one big gameplay thing that wasn't on PTS is this new spec. So I mean, it's all tied to the fact that we're going to the Pentagon and that thematic. So it's high tech, kind of a support spec. We wanted to lean into the fantasy of skills and high tech stuff. So it's called the Technician. It features stuff like a new Hive and that buffs other skills. And it features a really nifty multi-missile rocket launcher.
Damn. That's very cool. We're going to show you some clips of the gameplay in just a... No, actually, can we go with the first one? I just want to show it. Like
We just said
I just
missile
wanna see
launcher,
it.
so come on.
Like we can't
Let's show it now.
We can't hold it. So let's take a look at the first clip because I'm super into this. Ooh. Okay. So what are we seeing here, Frederick?
So you see this new crosshair, and you get to mark enemies. You kind of see how it builds up little dots on each one, and then you got these swirling missiles that go out and kind of clear the room. Each one kind of capable of taking out a red bar. I think you're actually going to go ahead and shoot just the one,
Just
this
one
red
here,
bar,
and
just to show. And yeah, it's really a room clear. Up to 6 missiles. They can lock on to different enemies, or you can tag one enemy with multiple missiles. And it won't be your primary like big boy targeting system where you like take down big bosses, but it'll be the thing that you can target people that are standing far apart and clear a room. Gonna be big.
Through that. So
Yep.
you have the rocket launcher. There's the P017 missile launcher. We've shown how it works. We don't really need to talk about it as much. What can you tell us about the tech Hive?
So it's called a Artificer Hive. But
Really
you know,
hard to say.
We do call it the Tech Hive internally, so that's fine. Like everybody will use whatever name the community is comfortable with. But the idea is that it enhances other skills. So you place it on the ground, it'll send out these little mini drones, and they'll hit other friendly skills, even the ones belonging to your group mates. So you can kind of buff everybody's placed and in transit skills, even like Seeker Mines and whatnot. But the big thing here is also if you carry it on your back, it's active for your skills, even when it's on your back. So if you got that and maybe, let's say, a drone out, it's going to actually fly out and buff your drone. It's going to buff it, make it stronger, make it more damaging. It's going to repair it. It's going to refresh its duration. So it's going to stay out longer. So kind of really do the heavy lifting for the skill that you are not using in that slot by buffing your other skill instead.
That's really cool. Actually, we can show this as well.
Yep.
So the second clip I have, it actually shows the Hive. Let's take a look at the second clip.
First,
Yeah.
now you can see he's tagging each enemy with multiple missiles.
So how does that work? Do you just hover over them again?
Yeah. And it takes just a split second. So you can pull your cursor over or your aim over without tagging someone, just if you want to be tactical about who you pick. So it's quite easy to use. And this is throwing out the Hive. And you'll see when the drone flies by that one of the little things comes out and hits it. And gives it a buff.
See the buff, yeah.
And you'll also notice when it comes back, exhausted, your little pet, kind of damaged. It'll hit it again now, I think, yep, and repair it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And you can imagine if you're playing 4 players in a group and you have a little, maybe, radius mod on this thing and stuff like that, that you can get really cool group support with this thing.
Let's we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at some live gameplay. So this is a work in progress build, and you can see down the bottom.
I just want to point out how exciting it is to show a live build on State of the Game. And
Yeah, it's really cool.
So you
So
got
I like how those specs have 225 at
this is the in progress stuff. We've cheated to give ourselves many points.
So disregard the numbers, but
And filled out everything.
let's go through the tree. Where do
All
you
right.
want to start, Frederick?
Let's start with the Hive. So you got the Hive over here, the Artificer Hive, and some extra mods for it to give it more radius and better recovery rate. And that's actually one of the things. All Hives in TU6 now work on charges. So like if they've used half their charges, you can actually go up to it and pick it up with the interact button and put it back on your backpack, and it'll keep whatever charges it has left. And this Hive is no exception. So instead of working off a cooldown, it works off charges, similar to Chem Launcher.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
So we got that. Obviously, you saw a little bit of that. Down here, you have the kind of group protection talent of Faraday field. So whenever you place some skills down, like the turrets and stuff that you place on the ground, they form a little protective field where anybody standing close to them, it'll basically conduct shock and disruption to it instead of your teammates.
Yep.
So it kind of creates a little protective field.
Yeah, my first question for this was, it doesn't apply to movable skills. Like the drone isn't going to fly a field around and that sort of thing, right? So it's only for static
Right,
skills.
it's for the static skills.
Right.
There's a question in chat here if the Hive buff can buff another Hive, and it can. Yeah, so it'll give it better duration, better effects and stuff.
Cool.
I mean, you can only have one buff per skill on, so it won't like stack infinitely.
Okay.
And then you have this interesting node here where you basically get to pick whether you spec into damage on your skills or healing.
Okay. But you can only pick one, right?
Yeah, so you can only pick one in this subtree. We're kind of trying out to
Have choices.
have a little bit more choices. We kind of did that in the last patch with the weapons, and now we're kind of using it in different places. I think that's kind of interesting to see where you want to go with the spec, so you don't get everything at the same time. And then various bonuses to skills and stuff like that. One of the big things that we changed in this patch for all of the specs is this.
Yeah, we
which
talked
is-
about this last week, right?
Yeah, which we're giving pulse resistance. And I think we have another video clip coming up where we can show that what you get is also the EMP grenade.
Yeah.
And the EMP grenade, causes disrupt and does some damage to robotic enemies. And if you're doing your invasion and your weeklies, you're going to want this for your
Yes.
Black Tusk enemies. But I suspect it'll also be quite popular in PvP.
My first PvP related question to this: can the EMP grenade disable the skills that are in the Faraday field?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the Faraday field is rendered.
I mean, I think no. The Faraday field is still active, but the skills
Okay.
go disrupted, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So the skills don't die; they get disrupted.
it depends. If you've not invested in health on your skills, and someone throws an EMP grenade at them, and they're really weak, they might just die,
Okay.
pop out of existence.
Because the EMP is still dealing damage.
It
right?
still deals damage to anything technological.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about this spec because it's really leaning into that whole side of things, and we kind of needed to do the whole revamp of skills that we did with TU5.
Yeah.
And now we can bring this out and really lean into the fantasy of shade tech and all of these things, right? I think it's pretty goddamn cool.
Can we do the sidearm last? Because I actually want to show it. full
Yeah, we
screen.
can show that. I don't know if we have so much more to show. It's the same like field here. You get a laser pointer that actually pulses targets when you aim at them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Also kind of high-tech inspired. And then you got your signature weapon talent, which is all based off of destroying enemy robotics and skills. So even not just robots, but things like RC cars and RC blades and things like that. So whenever you kill enemy equipment, essentially,
Turrets also and this kind of thing.
turrets and stuff like that, you're going to increase the bar until ammo drops. So it kind of really gives you a little bit of a role on what you're best at, right?
That's cool.
Hmm?
Nice. And then
So
US
I think that's most of what this does. This is the big signature like stat you get, which is you get more skill power for being in this spec.
So episode 2 comes out October 15th. We got a first look at the new specialization, and I'm a little sad that the raid is being delayed, but I understand where they're coming from. We did get some new content coming to episode 2, so hopefully you guys are ready for this. And we're going to wrap up this video here. Remember, if you guys enjoy these videos, leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions, use the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about episode 2, what you think about the new specialization in the comment section. I appreciate all the support, but until the next Division 2 video, nothing but skills out.